Hey guys, it's a lot of life with Joel, and today I thought I would give you 5 tips that I use to help make my diabetes management a little bit easier. Here we go. All right, tip 1 has to do with carb counting. We all got to do it, especially if you're giving yourself insulin, right? So, what better way to figure out how much is in some food than a nutrition scale? Especially one like this that has the nutrition label right on the side. Super helpful. Say you wanted to eat some red potatoes, right? Most scales, you know how much it weighs, but how many carbs are in that? Well, if you just use their included guide right here, you find the code for red potatoes, punch it in, put your potatoes on the scale, and boom, the nutrition label tells you exactly how many carbs are in there. All right, guys, here we go. Tip number 2 has to do with insulin dosage. Basically, get an app, get a diabetes calculator app on your phone, get it on your computer, wherever is convenient. It's awesome. Use it every meal. Anyway, here's mine. Let me log in. Let me get my. Here we go. Diabetes calculator. Yes, it's a Windows phone. Don't judge me. Anyway, the way that it works is typically there's a settings option. You enter in all your default values. So you enter in your ideal range, say 80 to 130 is pretty typical. For the blood glucose, you enter in your insulin to carb ratio and your insulin sensitivity factor. Once you've got those values, put them right in the settings, you're good to go. The way that it works, get your blood glucose right before mealtime, right there. Mine, I just did it, was 173. And I'll show you this cool rule of 3 thing. Basically, the way that it works is if I know how many grams are in a serving size. So say for these green beans I'm going to eat, there's 140 grams in the serving. I don't know if you can see that. And that 140 grams contains 10 carbohydrates, but I'm only going to consume 101 grams, right? So how many carbs am I consuming? Well, this little guy right here will tell you right there, boom, 7. Hit the transport button, and right there it sends it right over into the other part of the app. You can see I already put a 7 in there, so I'll remove it. Then I'm going to have 21 grams of carbs for a, man, that's not really showing up very well, is it? There you go, 21 grams of carbs for some mashed potatoes, and 5 for some cottage cheese, and boom, there's my total, 33, and it's saying that it recommends I take 4 units of insulin, and you can see down here if I took 5, it's saying that basically I would be below my target, which was 80. But it's nice that it shows you, and it also shows you the math right here. So if you don't have one, go out and get an app. It's amazing. All right, guys, tip number 3 has to do with insulin cooling. We all know it's important. If your insulin gets too hot, it can get ruined and won't be very effective. Traditional medication cold bags use ice packs, but what if you're going to be gone for a long time, won't be near a freezer, any way to get your cold pack cold again? Well, introduce the Frio. It's sort of a 2-bag set. This is the inner bag, and it's full of crystals. And all you need to activate these crystals is to soak it in water. And then once it's soaked for 5 to 7 minutes, the crystals will actually absorb a bunch of water, turn into sort of a gel, and then you basically let it dry for 15 to 20 minutes. Then you can stick your insulin pens or whatever right in there, and then it just goes right in this outer bag. There you go, Frio Cooling. And it's amazing. It works through evaporation, so as long as it has access to air, so we can get some airflow, it can keep your insulin cool, say under 80 degrees, and in the upper 70s or mid to low 70s for up to like 48 plus hours at like 90-degree weather. And all you need to do, say you're on a backpacking trip, you need to recharge it after a couple days, just find a creek, soak it some more, and it's ready to go. So there you go. Tip on insulin cooling. All right, guys, tip number 4 has to do with your diabetes bag. You know, every diabetic should have a sort of a diabetes go bag with all your essentials, right? Well, oftentimes guys don't want to carry a man bag around, you know, they get kind of embarrassed, you know, or so my solution, just get a little camera bag. Now people just think you're a tourist. It's about the right size, holds all your essentials. It's nice because it's padded, so you get that extra sort of level of safety if you drop it. And it also kind of helps as an insulator, so if you've got your insulin in there, might help keep it cool. On the ends, I've got sort of some essentials. So this one is my insulin pen tips. This little side pocket, I've got my alcohol swabs. And sort of all of your big essentials in the inside. So I've got my my little test kit here, baggie with a used insulin pen needle. Got some glucose tabs. Got my glucagon emergency kit. Of course, I've got insulin pen, and I also carry a little baggie or a little container of tissues. So I've seen a lot of people like lick their finger after they test and their blood off, which I think is kind of weird. So I usually just take a little tissue and just kind of hold it on there, and that's, I think, a little more sanitary. But anyway, there you go. There's my tip: diabetes bag. Get a little camera bag so you can still feel like a man. There you go. All right, guys, tip number 5 has to do with being regimented. One of the most important aspects of diabetes management is being regimented. And so this last tip is pretty much common sense, but it's alarms. Just set alarms to remind you for everything, to check your blood sugar, to give yourself a shot if you're still on shots. I know, like, I just set alarms on my phone. I have a standing one every night around 10 to take my long-acting insulin at night. You know, I sometimes, if I know I'm going to be busy or distracted, or I'm engrossed in some kind of a binge watch on Netflix, and I might forget to check my blood sugar, it's just set an alarm, you know, after you eat for a couple hours or whatever. And so basically, no brainer, but use alarms. It really helps a lot. So I hope you enjoyed all my tips, and I'll have more videos for you later. Bye.